Imagine a world so ancient, so raw, that its secrets are buried not in ruins, but in silence. A world where the first murder wasn't just a crime, it was a fracture in the story of humanity itself. This is the tale of Cain, the firstborn of Adam and Eve, a man whose name echoes through time not for his life but for his sin. Yet buried beneath his story is a mystery that shakes the very roots of what we believe about the beginning. It's not about the blood he spilled or the curse he bore. It's about her, Cain's wife. A woman with no name, no origin, no explanation. A shadow in the Bible's earliest pages, whispering questions we're afraid to ask. Who was she? Where did she come from? And what does her existence mean for the story of us all? This is no ordinary tale. It's a journey into the cracks of Genesis, where the untold stirs, waiting to be heard. Let's step into the mystery together, unraveling a story that's been hidden for millennia, a story that could change how you see the dawn of humanity. The first murder and a shattering silence. It didn't start with war or sacrifice. It started with a brother's blood soaking into the earth. Cain, the firstborn, a man of the soil, looked at his brother Abel, the shepherd, with eyes clouded by envy. Abel's offering pleased God. Cain's didn't. In a field of silence, far from any battlefield, Cain struck. Abel fell, and with him the innocence of humanity crumbled. The earth drank Abel's blood, and the story of mankind took its darkest turn. But this isn't just about a murder. It's about what came after. God confronted Cain, not with death, but with a curse. To wander the earth, a fugitive forever. And here, in the midst of divine wrath, Cain says something that stops us cold. Whoever finds me will kill me. Wait, who? According to Genesis, only Adam, Eve, Cain, and the now dead Abel existed. So who were these others Cain feared? Who else was out there in this supposedly empty world? The Bible doesn't answer. It leaves us standing in the silence, staring at a crack in the narrative that refuses to close. The land of Nod and a woman without a name. The story takes an even stranger turn. Cain, cast out, leaves the presence of God and settles in a place called Nod, east of Eden. The name Nod means wandering, exile, a fitting home for a cursed man. But then, with the casual ease of a passing thought, the Bible drops a bombshell. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. Who was this woman? Where did she come from? Was she a sister born to Adam and Eve but never mentioned? Or was she someone else? Someone who doesn't fit the tidy story of Eden? The Bible offers no name, no lineage, no hint of her origins. She's just there, as if her presence is normal, expected, but it's not. Not when we've been told only one family populated the earth. This silence isn't a mistake. It feels deliberate, like a veil drawn over a truth too big, too unsettling to be spoken aloud. Because Cain didn't just find a wife. He built a city named after his son Enoch. A city means people, laborers, builders, dreamers. It means culture, innovation, life. How does a cursed man alone in a barren world raise a civilization? Who helped him? Who lived there? Who were the forgotten ones lurking in the shadows of Genesis? Nod, a place or a state of being? Let's linger on Nod for a moment. The name appears only once in Scripture, a fleeting whisper, but its weight is crushing. In Hebrew, Nod means wandering, a fugitive's life. Was it a real place with borders and soil, or something else? A spiritual exile, a realm where the cursed walk unseen by heaven. If it was a physical land, how could it exist outside Eden, already waiting? And if it was populated, who were its people? Some scholars dare to ask the unthinkable. What if Cain's wife wasn't Mati from Adam and Eve, S-line at all? What if she belonged to another people, a forgotten race, a pre-Adamic civilization erased from the sacred story? This idea, whispered in ancient texts and forbidden traditions, suggests a world before Eden, a humanity that thrived before Adam's dust was shaped into a man. A parallel story, lost to time but echoing in myths, ruins, and mysteries. Others argue Nod wasn't a place at all. It was a condition, a wilderness of the soul, where Cain, stripped of God's presence, wandered. Yet even in exile, he builds, he creates, he fathers a son. How does a man cursed to roam forever settle down and raise a city? The contradiction pulls us deeper into the mystery. The woman at the heart of it all, let's return to her, Cain's wife. She's the key, the unspoken center of this enigma. If she wasn't a sister born to Adam and Eve, then who was she? Genesis 5:4 tells us Adam lived 800 years after Seth, fathering sons and daughters. 8 centuries of fertility could mean hundreds, maybe thousands of unnamed children. Were they the answer? Did Cain marry a sister, one of these unmentioned daughters? It's possible, but the timeline feels shaky. If Cain fled to Nod after the murder, was she already there? Did she follow him? Was she born before or after Abel's death? The math doesn't add up, and the logic frays at the edges. This is where the story gets wilder. Some voices outside the mainstream propose something bolder. Cain's wife wasn't from Adam's line at all. She was from a different humanity, a forgotten people deliberately left out of the Bible's narrative. What if she was the bridge to a lost world, a civilization older than Eden? If true, this explains the sudden rise of cities, crafts, music, and metallurgy in Cain's line. His descendants didn't just survive, they thrived, creating art and forging bronze, as if they inherited knowledge from an age before their own. A veil over the truth. Why does Genesis leave so much unsaid? Ancient Jewish tradition often crafted genealogies with purpose, not to list every soul, but to trace a sacred line, a spiritual story. Those left out weren't irrelevant, they were excluded on purpose. The Bible isn't a census, it's a promise, but what if the promise hides something bigger? What if Cain's wife wasn't just a woman, but a symbol of a world erased? A world of people who walked the earth before Eden, who mingled with Adam's children, who shaped the dawn of civilization. Some traditions speak of hundreds of children born to Adam and Eve, an invisible generation scattered across the early world. Others go further, whispering of pre-Adamic beings, civilizations that existed before Adam's first breath. If Cain found his wife among them, everything changes. His city, his fear, his legacy. It all points to a truth we weren't meant to see. And then there's Lilith. Her name doesn't appear in Genesis, but she haunts its edges. In Jewish folklore, Lilith was the first woman, created not from Adam's rib, but from the same earth, equal and unyielding. When she refused to submit, she fled Eden, or was cast out. The stories vary, but her exile is constant. In the wilderness, she became something else, a mother of wildness, birthing a race not of Eden, but of defiance. Some texts, like the medieval alphabet of Ben Sira, claim she bore countless children, a lineage outside the sacred story. Could Cain's wife have been one of them, a daughter of Lilith? It's a chilling thought. It would explain her sudden appearance, her otherness, the fear Cain carried. If she was from Lilith's line, then Nod wasn't just a land of exile. It was a borderland, a place where the divine and the forgotten collided. Cain, marked by God, might have married into a world that heaven had turned away from. The gifts of a cursed line. Cain's descendants didn't just survive, they created. His line gave us Jubal, the father of music, and Tubal-Cain, the master of bronze and iron. These aren't simple skills, they're the seeds of civilization. Art, metallurgy, urban life, all born from a cursed man's blood. How? Some say these gifts came from angels, the sons of God in Genesis 6, who descended to teach humanity forbidden knowledge. Others believe Cain's line carried secrets from a forgotten age, passed down through his mysterious wife. The Book of Enoch, an ancient text excluded from the Bible, speaks of these watchers, celestial beings who swore an oath to defy heaven, taking human wives and fathering giants, the Nephilim. These hybrids were mighty, broken, and dangerous, their existence so unnatural that it triggered the flood. Could Cain's city, Enoch, have been the first to welcome these fallen angels? Was his wife the link to a world that wasn't just human, but more? The mark of Cain, and a world unseen Cain's mark, is another mystery. God placed a sign on him so no one would kill him. But who would try? Who would know what the mark meant? Unless the world was already alive with people, laws, and cultures, the mark makes no sense. Perhaps it wasn't just a warning, but a recognition. A sign that Cain came from Eden, that he was different, feared, maybe even sacred. His descendants were both brilliant and broken, building cities only to vanish before the flood. Their legacy lingers not in scripture but in myths, ruins, and whispers across cultures, tales of giants, titans, and kings who ruled before history began. The Sumerians spoke of kings before the flood, the Egyptians of a golden age, the Hindus of forgotten cycles. Are these just stories, or are they memories of a world we weren't meant to remember? A story bigger than Eden. Genesis isn't a history of the earth, it's the story of a promise. Everything else is cast into shadow, but those shadows speak. They speak of a woman with no name, a city built by a cursed man, a world that existed before Eden's gates. Cain's wife isn't just a mystery, she's a message. She tells us humanity's beginning wasn't a single spark, but a wildfire, burning across a world far older and wilder than we've been told. The cities Jericho, Eridu, Satalhoyuk rose long before Abraham or Moses. They stand as silent witnesses to a truth Genesis doesn't explain. Cain's line may have vanished, but its fingerprints are everywhere, in the music, the metal, the walls that reached for the sky. And at the heart of it all is a woman whose name we'll never know, but whose existence changes everything. Step into the mystery. This isn't the end of Cain's story, it's the beginning of something bigger, a truth hidden in the silence, waiting for those brave enough to listen. Who was Cain's wife? Was she a daughter of Eden, a sister left unnamed? Or was she something else? A bridge to a forgotten world, a key to a history erased? The Bible doesn't tell us, and maybe that's the point. Some truths are too wild to be written in stone. So what do you think? Does this mystery shake your view of the beginning? Drop a comment with the city you're watching from, and let's keep unraveling the forgotten pages of the ancient world together. Hit subscribe, because the next chapter is coming, and it's going to take us even deeper into the shadows.